Hello and welcome back again. It is Friday the 11th of April and it's been a busy morning so far, or let's say a busy start to the shift. It is 12:56 so far. We've had one skate collection in with a heat mould. We've had Jan in for her figure skates to be sharpened. Hi Jan. Jan is a CBS ambassador. She posts a lot of content on Instagram, so if I can get her Instagram I might actually put it in the link in the description. If not, I might put it on the screen if I can remember, or if Pamela can let me know what it is if you want to drop her a wee follow. In this video as well you'll probably see Lewis doing his first chance of being on with his figure skates, so again I will put his Instagram and his social medias in the description and on the screen as well, so you guys can obviously drop him a follow his skating journey. Second off, what I'm going to say is it's good to see the place is starting to look a little bit busy. We also had a skate press in earlier on, so the worktop is sitting with that press in and these two different presses just to try and make sure that the customer had the right press to alleviate a little bit of pressure. It was quite a strange place, so it's not necessarily on this skate, but it was right where the toe cap meets the quarter package and it had to be just alleviated just a little bit. So jobs that I have on today, so considering the fact that we were absolutely dead last week and I was worried that that was it was all finished and there was nobody coming to see us and there was no jobs coming back in again, that's just what happens in business, that's how my head works. So you've probably already seen in the last video that I've got a repair for these gloves. We have a little bit of an issue with the thumb and the index finger. That has to be fixed. I have a pair of skates that need to have new holders mounted to them. I've got some eyelets that need to be repaired in these graphs. And I need to talk about these are brilliant. These belong to a customer called Joe, and Joe has been a customer of mine since we started the store in 2011. These skates were what he was skating in then, and he's still skating in them now, and they've stood the test of time because one, he looks after his stuff, but when you look at the skate you probably won't think that, but they have been put on life support I don't know how many times. So they've had holders changed, the holders have been changed on them, they've had multiple sets of steels in them, the logos fell off them here, they've started to crease, the logos fell off them here. I had to rebuild the top eyelet on this one, I had to rebuild the top eyelet on the other one just here, and obviously you can see that there's an eyelet missing again. He's wanting me to go through them with a fine tooth comb, and it must be skate MOT time because they need some eyelets and they need some rivets. And the reason why he's decided to do this is he's been through about 8 or 9 pairs of skates in the time that we've had the store. He doesn't want to go and buy a brand new pair, he would like to buy a pair that's already kind of seen the ice a few times, shall we say, and he's had maybe about 4 or 5 pairs in the last little while which have been slightly stiffer than the old Bauer Supreme 7000. Now what he's decided to do was, there's another one of my friends who was selling skates, and I kind of said to David, why don't you speak to Joe, because these would go really well for Joe, and lo and behold they're the same size but they are a different fit altogether. I say they're a different fit, they're a different style, they're a Supreme 3000 plus and slightly better nick than the ones that he's been skating in previously. They have all of the original eyelets which are still good, they have all of the original rivets, although not this one, they are looking a little bit rusty. This one here has to have the coppers replaced in it because the coppers have come loose, but these skates are in really good condition. It was, like I said, my friend David had them up his loft, he put them up there and left them, and he's decided that what he was going to do was get rid of them. He's decided to go on a bit of a tear when it comes to selling skates. He's another one that decides to buy and sell skates second hand quite a lot. He'll buy something to see if he likes it, if he doesn't like it he'll sell it on, if he likes it he'll wear it till it falls apart and then try and get the same model again, and then he'll try something different as well. So with these 2 pairs of skates, what we've got to do today is check the eyelets and the rivets. These ones are absolutely fine, they don't really need that much work apart from maybe a couple of copper rivets, and these ones they just need maybe some TLC on some of the eyelets. Now again, if it was me, I remember having these skates when I was 16 years old, that's when they came out. There was about 15 or 16 year old when they came out. I am now 40-year-old That's how long Joe's had these for. Joe's had them that entire time, and he's skated on them religiously every weekend or twice, 3 times a week ever since, and he will not get rid of them. He's tried, like I said, 4 or 5 different pairs of skates in the last little while, and he loves them. And I wish I never get rid of mine, if I'm honest. Mine's actually, the blade broke on them, and I took them to another store that was here at the time. It was Elsa's Hockey. Elsa's actually they're still on the go, but they're not on the go as a shop anymore. They sell socks and stuff like that. So Fiona done a conversion for me, or it was to T-blades of all things. You should have seen my T-blades, they were brilliant. They were chrome holders, blue holders with chrome blade holders and white blades. They looked mint, they were brilliant looking, but they were horrible. Like I say, they were horrible. When I got the next variant of the Supremes, like I got the first variant of them, which came out like this, but they were white in this part here. This is the second variant. The second variant actually came out and they were near enough full black with the white stitching, and I couldn't skate on them because it was a totally different pitch and shape of the steel. So I actually had to take them to another store who's still on the go now, but they're not as prevalent in hockey. They are Reed's Trophies in Ayr, so I took them to Reed's in Ayr, and I got Billy to change the shape of the front of the steel, and believe it or not, I still skate with that same shape nowadays. That's why if you ever look at my steels, when I show you my steels, you'll see they're quite aggressively rockered at the toe, and that's just because of the T-blades. That's basically what they did to me. They've reverted me back to, I have to have them like a T-blade. But anyway, that's the jobs I've got on the go today. I'll see what I can get time-lapsed, and I'll see what other things I can get done along the way. Pamela actually has the other camera in with her today, which is the Canon DSLR, so she is going to do some content hopefully as well, and then we'll see what we can get done, see if we can maybe get a couple of videos out of this. You never know. So Pamela's obviously in the process of moving things yet again. I think she's looking for somewhere to plug a fan in. Okay, but yeah, so as you can see, the dog's cage is no longer there. We've decided that the dogs are now big enough that they don't have to come to the store every single day, and because we're going to not have the season, and when I say we're not going to have the season, the clan season is now finished and the ice rink will be now closed coming into the next couple of weeks. So there will be a shutdown at Braehead. That means that we won't actually be at the Elite League games anymore. So because we're not at the Elite League games, it means that we're leaving the dogs in the house a lot less time. Now, I know a lot of people will say that they're not really happy about us leaving dogs in the house and you should have a dog sitter, but that's just how we do it. We find that over the last little year,
4 or 5 hours.
yeah, they've got good bladders, they don't pee everywhere, stuff like that, and they're only in for a short amount of time. But that's totally digressing, so let's see if we can get back onto the repairs, because that's hopefully what you're here for, and we'll see how we go. Right, so instead of doing time lapse on this one, I'm going to walk you through what I'm going to do with most of the repairs. So what I'm doing just now, as we can see, is getting my wee toolbox out. The wee toolbox here has all of the different sizes of eyelets, the eyelet washers, and the old Blade Master style eyelets as well, and it has all the attachments for my Blade Master riveter. So the plan of attack is to try and get the eyelets done on the first couple of skates first, get them out the road, and then I can move on to some rivets, and then I can move on to time-lapsing you guys for the installation of the new holders on the XF70s, which are sitting there just now. So again, you probably already seen the XF70s before. It was a customer who had bought the XF70s because it was actually cheaper to buy a new pair of skates than get holders and steels. So he decided that what he was going to do was do holders and steels, but when he actually went to get them, it was so much money that he decided to just do a brand new pair of skates, and he thought he would give them a try. So he gave them a try and they didn't work, because they were a slightly different fit from his previous skate. Even though they were a wide fitting skate, there was a massive difference in the shape and the feel of them. So because there was a massive difference in shape and feel, he decided that he was going to take the holders and steels off of the new skates and put them on his old ones, because that was what he was comfortable in. So first thing I'm going to try and do is see if I can remove this eyelet. What you tend to find is most of them will come out, no problem, but if they don't come out, it's just a wee bit of persuasion with a set of pliers just to pry them out. There's a couple of them that I've actually broken halfway through, which come out relatively easy. That's the first two that I'm going to have to do, and the second one is actually deteriorated as well, so we'll take that one out also. We'll see if we can get that one pressed out, because the back part of it has come out. The thing with Joe's skates, it's one of these ones where because they are so soft, the leather is so soft, you have to be extremely careful with them, but at the same point you can't be too careful. You've got to put a wee bit of pressure on them to try and get them to move, just for the simple reason, well, if you don't, they won't come out. So that's another one that's going to be here, that's only a partial eyelet. So with this one, the other persuasion tool that I've got is as a screwdriver. If we put the screwdriver in and just force it through a little bit and push it through and twist it, it usually brings any eyelets or any debris through with it. So that one was just a collar that needed to be done. So far there's 5 eyelets on this skate. So we'll get them done and out of the road. So next port of call, we remove the eyelet removal tool, which is this part and this part. They go together. And then what we're going to do is we are going to put the eyelet installation tool, which is this part here and this part here. Put them into the riveter. Hopefully the noise from up the stairs isn't too bad. They've got crap music on again, with a lot of noise coming from up the stairs. Sounds as if there's a lot of people doing jumping jacks up there. So I'm going to use a slightly longer eyelet this time. The barrel part of the eyelet comes in 3 sizes. So what we were actually using for this one, I will get you the code for it because I'm a bit of a geek. It's a TSE 263 number 63 eyelet, or eyelet barrel. So all we do with that is we just press it into place. So there is a brand new eyelet that has now been installed. So I'm going to do that with the remainder of them, just quickly get them done and out the road, and then we can move on to the next part of that, which is looking at the other pair of skates, the new pair of skates. The new pair of skates that he has look as if there's nothing really wrong with them. What you're probably going to find is, what we're going to have to do is just the copper rivets. There's another one that's actually missing the interior part. Now, as we can see, that one here is a little bit loose. So what may have to happen with that is I may have to remove where I've actually repaired previously, because it's now starting to stretch a little bit, and add another piece of leather. But hopefully by that point, Joe will be in another pair of skates. So I'm just pressing this part back out again, because it looks as if it's deteriorated that much, it's broken into pieces. It's not exactly the most orthodox way of doing these, the way I'm doing it at the moment, but it saves me having to change everything over. And you can see that there's parts, I don't know if you're able to see this or not, but there is parts that are breaking off out of the actual interior of the eyelet itself. So that is the next one ready to go. Apologies there, I had to go. There was a customer come in and I didn't want the stuff that was being spoken about on camera. Not that it was overly sensitive information, it was just something to do with his order, and it was that there's another pair of skates now coming for it to replace something, but we don't want to get into that conversation because we don't want to, how would I put it, make it sound as if we're having a go at a certain brand. So we're not going to talk about that one, but we will talk about the skates when he gets the new skates. What we've done so far is we have managed to get all of the eyelets done in these ones. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 eyelets in that one, and we have in this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eyelets in this skate. So that is then done. We had 2 additional eyelets that we had to put into that skate here, and 1 additional eyelet that we had to put into this one. So these ones can now be taken away and put on top of the machine so that they can get sharpened, because that's the next thing that they need. Next job on the agenda will be the rivets for the coppers for this one. I'm going to take that copper off and replace this one. So that's 2 coppers in that skate. And these ones are looking like they could probably be doing with getting replaced as well, so I'll replace them. None of the eyelets need done on that one at all, so after I do that, it will be this job.
Alright, so we've got wee Alfie here, who's in for his heat mould. He's got his new skates. So what have the viewers to do, Alfie?
Like, share and subscribe and keep it cold-blooded.
Oh, you're a good star, well done.
So I've had a couple of sharpenings that's interrupted today's events. I did plan on doing the coppers. I'm set up ready to go for them, but I've had a few pairs of skates in from North Air. I'm going to get them sharpened and get them on their way. So it seems as if it's a day for rivets and eyelets. This skate here has, what do you see, 5, 6, 7, I think it's 15 in total between two skates. It's more or less the whole upper on this one and the top 3 as well. And that only came in for a sharpening, believe it or not. So that's all of the North Air skates done. Now I can get back to the other sharpenings, which are now sitting there. Get them done, and then I'll get onto these sometime today, hopefully. So it's 3:45. That's me managed to get rid of everything. I've managed to have a 5-minute seat as well, which means I've managed to have a sit down, a wee talk with Pam, just to see what the plan is for going forward. We have a couple of meetings next week with regards to some stuff that like I said earlier on in the previous video, or that we're going to need to stay quite tight-lipped about, but at the same point we've got some stuff on the horizon which is quite good. So we're going to move on to some more rivets again. So I'm going to take the insoles out of this pair of skates. I'm going to put you up here. There we go, I'm going you up there. So I just need to take the insole out to get to be able to access the coppers. So again, you probably see me do this quite a lot, or quite often. I don't know how much of it you're actually going to be able to see because I can't see the back of the camera to be able to tell what you're actually getting a look at. So the plan is loosen these down a little bit. Try not to drop them. It's been one of the days. It's excessively warm in here today, which is unusual for a shop. It's called cold-blooded. It's really warm. Pamela said melting-blooded because it's warm. Right, so I was going to show you guys some stuff earlier on, but Pam came and interrupted me when I was in the middle of showing you. So we have a removal tool for your coppers. So this has to go at the base. So we take this part out, put that part in, and then we have a removal tool, a removal die, which goes in the actual riveter itself, and then we have a prodding device, shall we say, which is a persuader. I usually call it a persuader. So what we do with that is we put the skate in and clamp it down, making sure that the persuader's basically touching the top of the eyelet. Keep saying eyelet, I mean rivet. So you basically make the persuader touch the top of the rivet, and then this is now the persuader, where you hit this part here and it forces the rivet out of the skate. So that is literally what it takes to take an eyelet out. So then the eyelet is usually stuck in the inside of the skate. So what you do is just give it a little wiggle. Hopefully the thing will come out, knowing that it's an older style skate. It's going to be a slightly longer type of copper that's used on it. So what I'll then use is the screwdriver with the point, give it a little chap, and then there is your rivet. As we can see when it goes into the, if I could hold anything today, as we can see when it goes in, sometimes it goes a little bit skew-with, a little bit bent. That can be a number of things. It can be the positioning of how it's been put in, or it could have been put in with a pneumatic machine. Back in the day it maybe have been done by hand, but now most of the time rivets are done with a pneumatic machine. So that one is now more or less out as well. And then what I'm going to do is just make sure I get it all the way out. And there we have number 2, which is a slightly different shape again. So with that said, that's that part of it done. So now I can get rid of the removal tools. Put this bit back in. Apologies, I got sidetracked again. There was a sharpener that came in there just now. I had to do a sharpening, and it was a repair as well. There was a Sparks machine that had done the skates, and they were very, very off and very, very flat. and not very smooth, unfortunately. So customer requested a quarter on them, so I put a quarter on them and obviously made sure that they were nice and level and with a high polish finish. So where I was up to the last time, I think, was putting the rivets in. So obviously putting the rivets in, what you do is you take one of these. Again, I can't hold anything today. You take one of these and one of these. This goes inside the skate, this goes over the top of the skate, or over the top of the rivet, and then you compress it with the riveter, and it basically pushes it down to the point where it sits like so, just there. Now that has been cut with a pair of snips, so you cut that off, then you obviously put it back into the riveter. Then this is a splaying tool, that goes in the inside, that goes over the top of the copper, and then you hit it with a hammer. Just about the way I do it, I'd always do it 3 times. You can probably get away with doing it once, but it's just my thing. I do it 3, and then you do the other side as well. So there we have it. That is 2 new coppers in the skate. So that is now both skates done with the coppers. That's the only thing that they needed. They needed a sharpen and two new coppers on either side of the skate. So now I can go on to the XF70s and I'll set up my time lapse for that one. Well, that's 4:37 in the afternoon. That's a slightly busier day than the last day. Probably already seen by the footage. It's been pretty non-stop for myself the whole day. Maybe apart from the fact that I sat down for 5 minutes and had a conversation with Pam about what was happening and what else had to be done. Other than that, how's your day been?
Busy. I'm catching up on a lot of admin. And
Sounds like it's been fun.
yeah, well, he's done. I'm tired today. It's the heat in here, I think.
The heat is actually starting to make me feel as if I want to go to sleep.
Very warm.
So when we're talking about the heat, right now 17 degrees, that's like a summer. That's like summer heat over here just now. Even though in the shade it's still a bit cold and with a slight wind, but it's still enough for someone like me with this complexion to go outside and end up needing a duffel coat on so they don't get burned.
Factor duffel coat.
Factor duffel coat, exactly. Right, anyway, so that is us finished for today. So hopefully there's been enough stuff that I can put together a couple of videos. If not, then that might just be one big long video. So anyway, until the next time, thank you very much for watching. Like, share and subscribe. Keep it cold-blooded.